Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our monthly meeting of the Cobb County Board of Zoning Appeals. For those of you that are here for the first time, let me give you a little insight on how we're going to conduct the meeting. The first thing that we will concern ourselves with today is the continued cases. These cases were continued for last month, and they will be heard as they come up in their numeric order. And as they're read, the applicant, he or she, will identify themselves by raising their hand. Mr. John Peterson, our head zoning administrator, will read these into the case, read each case into the record. And again, as he does, the applicant will identify themselves by raising their hand. If there is anybody here in opposition to any of these particular cases, at that time, they will raise their hand when we call for opposition. And if we do have any opposition, we will hear that case as it comes up in its regular numeric order. And at that time, those of you that are going to give testimony, the applicant and those in opposition, will be called forward. Our officer today is Ms. Bates. She will swear you in, and all testimony will be given to the podium to my right. As is our custom at this time, before we get started, I'd like to introduce Officer Ott. Officer Ott is here today to represent all the first responders with Cobb County, and as is our custom, if you'd all please rise, he will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, with those comments made, I'd like to ask Mr. John Peterson if he has any special comments to make before we get started. John?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There is one case on today's printed agenda, which has been withdrawn without prejudice, will not be heard today. That's variance case B93, Jennifer Lamy. That case has been withdrawn without prejudice, will not be heard today. In addition, Mr. Chairman, there is one case in which the applicant is asking for a withdrawal without prejudice. That's a variance case V65, Hoover Foods Incorporated. The applicant did send in a letter last week asking this case be withdrawn without prejudice, so we need a vote from the board to do that.
Whose district is that representing? Mr. McDaniel? Yeah. Okay, Brian, go right ahead.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to make a motion then to withdraw case V65 without prejudice.
Got a motion, got a second. No other comments? We'll call for the vote. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to dismiss that case without prejudice, case V65, with a 4-0 vote. Let me also point out Mr. Gunther is away on a medical emergency, so he will not be here today. John, go right ahead. Any other comments?
Thank you. There's also one other case on today's agenda in which the applicant is seeking a continuance. That's variance case V34, Vinings Jubilee Partners Limited. The applicant is still working with the community on the sign design, Mr. Chairman and board, so they would like to continue this until the November 14th date.
Okay. And I believe, again, that Mr. McDaniel, so you go right ahead.
It is. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to move, to continue case V34 to our next scheduled meeting on November 14th.
Okay. Got a motion, got a second. No other comments, call for the vote. And again, that's a 4-0 that we will continue that case V34 until it comes up at the next scheduled meeting. All right, John, what else?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would like to ask people in today's audience, if you have a cell phone, please turn the volume off on your cell phones. When they ring, they do interfere with the broadcast and presentation. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I'm ready to start the consent agenda.
Okay, we're ready. Let's get right into it.
Cobb County Board of Zoning Appeals, variance hearing consent agenda for October 10th, 2018. Variance case V88, Haristo Kolev, requests a variance to waive the side setback for the existing house. Require 10 feet to 9 feet adjacent to the west property line. Waive the side setback for an accessory structure under 650 square feet for an existing approximately 160 square foot shed number 1 from required 10 feet to 3 feet adjacent to the west property line, and to waive the side setback for an accessory structure under 650 square feet for an existing approximately 160 square foot shed number 2 from required 10 feet to 7 feet adjacent to the east property line in land lot 67 of the 16th district. The property is located on the south side of Shallow Ridge Road, west of Shallow Creek Drive. Staff recommends approval, subject to development inspection comments. Is the applicant present? Let the record show the applicant is here. Is there anyone here opposed to variance case V88? Let the record show there's no one opposed. Variance case V90, Dana Silvers requests a variance to allow parking and/or maneuvering on a non-hardened and treated surface, which is a gravel drive. We have the front setback from required 25 feet to 23 feet, which is existing. And we have the rear setback from required 25 feet to 11 feet in land lot 350 of the 17th district. The property is located on the south side of Taylor Drive, east of Old Concord Road. Staff recommends approval, subject to traffic comments, and subject to gravel drive is only permitted for the parking of one car. Is the applicant present? The applicant is here. Is there anyone here opposed to variance case V89? Let the record show there's no one opposed. Variance case V90, Jennifer Bergener requests a variance to allow parking and/or maneuvering on a non-hardened treated or treated surface, which is a gravel drive. We have the setback for an accessory structure over 650 square feet for an existing approximately 800 square foot garage from required 100 feet to 0 feet. And we have the side setback for an accessory structure under 144 square feet for an existing approximately 100 square foot shed from required 10 feet to 0 feet adjacent to the north property line in land lot 683 of the 19th district. The property is located on the east side of Old Villarica Road, north of Bagley Forest Drive. Staff recommends approval, subject to traffic comments, and subject to remove all debris along the property line that runs parallel to Old Villarica Road and remove the old fencing. Is the applicant present? Let the record show the applicant is here. Is there anyone here opposed to variance case V90? Let the record show there's no one opposed. Variance case V91, Robert Ward requests a variance to waive the rear setback for an accessory structure under 650 square feet for an approximately 432 square foot proposed pergola from required 35 feet to 20 feet in land lot 331 and 390 of the 16th district. The property is located at the western terminus of Fricks Road, west of Cochrane Lake Road, and on the north side of Shallowford Road. Staff recommends approval. Is the applicant present? Let the record show the applicant is here. Is there anyone here opposed to variance case V91? Let the record show there's no one opposed. Variance case V94, Roxana Crease requests a variance to waive the rear setback from 18 feet per variance V120 of 2016 to 14 feet in land lot 929 of the 19th district. The property is located on the northwest corner of Citizen Circle and Brookwood Drive. Staff recommends approval, subject to stormwater management comments. Is the applicant present? The director show the applicant is here. Is there anyone here opposed to variance case V94? Let the record show there's no one opposed. Variance case V95, Carlton Wallstad and Shannon Wallstad request a variance to waive the rear setback from required 40 feet to 30 feet in land lot 4 of the 1st district. The property is located at the northwest intersection of Willow Knoll Drive and Ponte Vita Drive. Staff recommends approval, subject to traffic comments. The applicant's representative is present. Is there anyone here opposed to variance case V95? Let the record show there's no one opposed. Variance case V96, Saney's BP Incorporated requests a variance to waive the front setback from required 50 feet to 40 feet, allow accessory structures, existing car wash, proposed dumpster pad to be to the front of the principal building in land lot 923 of the 17th district. The property is located at the northeast intersection of Terrell Mill Road and Paris Ferry Road. Staff recommends approval. Is the applicant present? Let the record show the applicant is here. Is there anyone here opposed to variance case of V96? Let the record show there's no one opposed. Variance case V97, William K. Walker requests a variance to waive the side setback for an accessory structure under 650 square feet for an approximately 600 square foot awning storage from required 12 feet to 5 feet adjacent to the west property line Allow an accessory structure, a proposed 1,140 square foot garage to be located to the side of the principal building. We have the setback for an accessory structure over 650 square feet for the proposed 1,140 square foot garage from required 100 feet to 67 feet adjacent to the east property line, and allow parking and/or maneuvering on a non-hardened and treated surface, and that's a gravel driveway, in land lot 451 of the 19th District. The property is located on the south side of Macklin Road, west of Florence Road. Staff recommends approval, subject to traffic comments. Is the applicant present? Let the record show the applicant is here. Is there anyone here opposed to variance case V97? Let the record show there's no one opposed. And finally, variance case V98, Russell Long and Karen Long request a variance to waive the rear setback for an accessory structure under 650 square feet for an approximately 360 square foot pavilion from required 35 feet to 10 feet in land lot 459 of the 16th District. The property is located on the northwest side of Davis Road across from Aberdeen Court, west of Rangers Gate. Staff recommends approval, subject to applicant to obtain a building permit for the structure. Is the applicant present? Let the record show the applicant is here. Is there anyone here opposed to variance case V98? Let the record show there's no one opposed. And that completes the consent agenda, Mr. Chairman and Board.
Okay, it's back to this board for discussion, comments. Not hearing any, I'll entertain a motion then.
I'll make a motion to approve all items on the consent agenda.
Got a motion?
Second.
Second, Monique. No other comments, call for the vote. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to vote to approval 4-0 on all those cases that were just put on the consent agenda. Ladies and gentlemen, those of you that were on the consent agenda, your business is complete with us for today. Now, you're welcome to stay, but if you leave, please leave quietly. And I'd like to remind you with the storm coming in, be careful the next 24 to 48 hours. So with that, you're dismissed. And John, as they're leaving, it looks to me like we're going to hear case V92 and V77. Is that correct, John?
That's correct.
Okay. Well, I'm ready when
Okay.
you're ready to call it.
Moving into the held case agenda, variance case V77, Benjamin Davis requests a variance to waive the setbacks for an accessory structure over 650 square feet for an existing approximately 720 square foot metal garage, required 100 feet to 7 feet adjacent to the west property line, and 40 feet from the rear in land lot 730 of the 16th District. The property is located on the south side of Kingswood Drive, east of Arnold Avenue. Is the applicant present?
Applicant.
Is the applicant here for V77? Is there anyone here opposed to variance case V77? We got two opposed, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. At this stage, I don't think it's going to do us any good to try to call the applicant.
I think I have met with the neighbors.
With neighbors.
Very nice people,
Judy,
and they're probably,
Would you be opposed to holding it for 30 more days?
to give the applicant an
give-
opportunity to be here. No, wait a minute. It's a simple yes or no,
And then-
or if you want to make a comment, you've got to come up and we got to swear you in and you've got to do it in front of the microphone. Okay? Judy, it's really up to you if you want to hear it or what. But all right, sir, again, for the record, if you would, just give us your name,
Alexander Laniger.
and then Ms. Williams will discuss it with you.
Okay, and we've met, and you live next door.
Yes.
I have a problem with holding it.
I have no problem with holding it. There is an issue. You've been out with us. We've been working to try to come to a mutual agreement, a solution to this problem. I will be available to be here for that calendar date. My parents are going on a cruise that's been booked for a while now.
That's fine. That's no
Okay.
problem. No problem.
But being that my father is, the sole property owned, like
It's
the
still
owner.
okay.
Okay, that was my only
Yeah,
concern.
I'm glad you told me, but it's still fine. Tell them they can go and enjoy that cruise,
Okay,
and you can represent them. That's still fine.
okay.
So I would like to make a motion that we hold this for 30 days.
Got a motion?
I'll second.
I got a second by Monique. No other questions? Call for the vote. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we're going to continue this case for 30 days.
And I will see you, and I'll talk to you before next month.
Okay.
We're going to continue this for 30 days till our next scheduled meeting, and you and Ms. Williams will have some discussion.
Okay, just so I can mark it on my calendar, the next date is,
That'd be
November the 14th.
November the 14th.
And I'm going to instruct our clerks, Madam Clerk, if you would, call the applicant, tell him what we've done today or tomorrow, you can call him, and make sure he knows that he has to be here on the 14th. Okay? Thank you, Alexander. All right, John, let's go to our next one.
Yes, sir. Variance case V92, Louisa J. Ross requests a variance to waive the front setback from required 45 feet to 41 feet, which is existing. Allow an accessory structure, an approximately 325 square foot frame building to be to the side of the principal structure, and to waive the side setback for an accessory structure under 650 square feet for an approximately 325 square foot frame building, from required 12 feet to 11 feet, adjacent to the north property line in land lot 383 of the 19th district. The property is located on the west side of Harmony Road, north of Tranquil Lane. Is the applicant present? Let the record show the applicant is here. Is there anyone here opposed to variance case V92? Let the record show there's 3 people opposed. All those wishing to address the board, please come forward and be sworn in.
Anybody that wants to give testimony either for or against needs to come forward now, and we need to get you sworn in.
Swear or affirm that the statements you are about to give are the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes. Me? Okay. Do I stand up here?
Yes, you do.
Okay.
First thing I'd like you to do, ma'am, is you would, please give us your name for the record, please.
My name is Wendy Butterick. I'm Louisa J. Ross's daughter, and I reside at the residence.
Okay? All right, Wendy, tell us what you want.
We have placed a shed there, and we are looking for a variance because there's nowhere else to put it on my property.
Okay?
Yeah.
Well, tell us why, where, and what.
Well, in the back there, it slopes and there's trees. And when we called the health department out for the permit, and there's a septic tank lines back there. So when we called the health department and asked them where should we place it, I gave her the 2 options that I thought were best. One would be right behind the house there in the back part to the, I guess, the right of this picture in the back, the clearing back there. That happens to be
You see
where
that-
our
you see that
septic
arrow?
lines are.
You see the arrow up there? Is that a?
Back there, yes, sir.
So that's where you wanted to put it originally, is that correct?
I had offered that space and then the
Okay.
space that we placed it.
Okay,
That has my septic lines down there, and so the health department was reluctant to give me a permit for there. So the health department felt that the place where we placed it was suitable and that she gave me a permit for it. So I thought we were okay with doing what we were doing when we placed it there. Come to find out, we had to get a variance, which we've complied to. And I also have all my adjunction neighbors across the street. One of the opposed council people, they live way down the street from us, and the other one lives next door, which I did not get.
all right, I tell you what, again, the arrow will point, tell us whose signature you have.
Okay, I had everybody around my property to this there.
Okay, you got
I
that?
have her,
Okay.
and I have the one right next door. No.
Up,
There,
okay,
and I have the next one across from it,
okay,
and I have the one on the other side, up, there, and then I have 2 more coming down the street, which is not in the picture.
how about the ones behind you? Do you have the signature from that house?
When the gentleman came out and looked at my property the other day, that was on your council. It must be this man Skip that was
Yes,
out.
he's out, yes.
He did not advise me to ask the people in behind me.
Okay, okay.
And when he came and looked inside my backyard, he agreed that there was no other place for the shed.
Do you have any pictures or
I,
anything? Yeah, and I tell you, we're a little confused. Could you tell us exactly where the shed is? And let's take that arrow.
the shed is on that side of the property. Keep going up, adjacent to the house. Exactly, to the
Right there.
fence. Yeah, around there, correct.
Okay. All right.
I have a diagram actually where it's at.
If you would
And
give that-
everything that I've submitted to you guys
Okay. No,
in the
ma'am,
past.
ma'am, I don't want, I don't, no, ma'am, just go sit down. I haven't called you up. I'd just like you to sit down. That gentleman right there next to you, if you would give him that information, he will put it up on the screen for us. Just give him a minute, and then you can explain to us what we're looking at.
Which one are you putting? Oh, yeah, right there. That's a good one.
Now, we're going to give you a microphone and a pointer, and you point
Okay,
to that piece of paper and tell us what we're looking at.
okay. So this is actually the health department permit that she gave me. And the shed is here. Here's my fence. And here's the front of the house. So back here, there's trees. Over here was another site where I offered her and she scratched it out. Again, my septic lines are back there. So the shed is there. Back here, there's already, there's trees, and then there's like a pavilion type of thing that I have a permit for as well. That was already put on a permanent foundation that was already existing to the property.
To explain that to me again. Tell me what's on a permanent foundation.
So there's like a pavilion, like an outside pavilion thing.
Where is that?
It's directly behind the house, which was on a permanent
So it's right there.
foundation
Okay.
that was already
Okay.
there when we bought the house.
Okay. Does that have a roof on it?
No,
Okay. All
and I
right.
have a permit for that as well
Okay.
with the health department. Yep. And then the shed is here.
Okay. All right. Now,
That's it.
let me ask you
There's
this.
trees back here.
Okay.
And all along here.
Yes, ma'am. This is a permit from the health department that I'm looking at. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And I see where the lines go out. You see where it says number 2 and number 3.
Right.
They're your septic lines. Is that correct, ma'am?
They are, and they
Okay.
go, she said, when she came out there, if you can see right here, here's
Yeah.
the septic, and it goes out here
Uh-huh.
to here,
Yep.
and then it turns around here,
Right.
and then it goes out into this area, is what I was told.
Well, it only goes out as far as the lines are drawn. We're all pretty familiar with septic tanks, so
Well, that's,
just wanted to point that out.
okay. Well, I'm just telling you what I was told by her.
Okay.
You can,
Okay.
corroborate it with them. But then also back here, the property slopes, and all the water from the street flows down our property, and that also could become unstable of a dirt there, because when it rains,
Okay.
when it rains heavily, all the water from the street flows down into my property, into the back here, which would be the back houses behind us.
Okay, tell us about the shed that you just built.
It's just a shed.
Is it built out of brick, cardboard?
No, it's a prefabricated wood shed
Okay.
from a fabrication place. They just placed it
Two-story,
there.
one-story, painted?
One story.
Is it painted?
It is not painted at the present moment.
What's your intention to do with the
We're
paint?
gonna paint it to the same color as our house.
Okay. Is it on a slab, a concrete slab?
It is not.
Okay. And what's the purpose of the shed?
I use it for storing my jewelry and just stuff that I do in there.
Jewelry, is it a workshop or,
Yeah, like a workshop.
Is jewelry a hobby with you? Is it a hobby business?
Yeah, that's a hobby. And then
Okay,
I have, some other stuff I do in there.
Okay,
It's
so
my shed.
you don't run any business out of that
No.
shed at all? And you don't run a business out of your house?
I do have a house permit for a business out of my house.
Okay, tell us what that is. What's,
I have a trucking company.
pardon me?
I have a trucking company.
Trucking company, okay.
Yes, sir. None of my trucks or anything are at there, and it's just a home office.
Okay. All right, anything else you want to tell us about the shed or the house or anything else? Any other pictures you want to show us? You have to get
I have a
this-
picture of what it looks like if you want to see it.
Yes. Let me tell you how this works, Wendy. You got a 10-minute period. You tell us everything you want to tell us in that 10-minute period. There is no rebuttal. Once you're finished, you're finished.
Okay.
So nobody has a rebuttal. Any comments or anything you'd like to tell us now, you gotta tell us. Okay, tell us what
Okay,
we're looking
so
at.
there's my shed, and I do use it because it's my shed.
But you don't conduct businesses out of there.
I do not have traffic coming through there. I do store some of my stuff in there for my businesses, yes. But I do not have foot traffic or any such thing coming through there.
Okay. You either have a business or you don't have a business. That's.
I do not have foot traffic coming through there. I have
So
a
you don't
home
have a
business.
You don't have a business out of that shed.
No, I don't have a business out of that shed. I have a business out of my house.
Okay, okay. Anything else you want to tell us, Wendy?
No, no, sir.
Anything else at all you want to tell us?
No.
Okay, if you would, just go have a seat and we'll hear from the opposition. Yeah, we'll go for the opposition.
Do you need any of this paperwork?
No, you just hold on to it.
How about the signatures?
If you would, pass that to our
Thank
clerk.
you.
All right, now at this time, I will hear from the opposition. And again, sir, if you would, for the record, if you would, give us your name, please.
My name is David Lee. I live right beside it, right beside where this problem's at.
Now show us where the arrow is pointing. Is that your house there?
Yes, it looks like it.
At your house, you're next door, okay?
Yes.
And you signed, she indicated that you signed.
No, I have not signed that paper.
Oh, okay,
No.
okay, okay. All right, sir, go right ahead.
She is running business out of that house. There are foot traffic coming in. There's cars lined up on the street going in and out of that business when that building was first put there. I sat on the porch next door. I hear her in that building talking on the phone, talking about truck driving, talking about that, don't be coming back from North Carolina because the traffic and everything. I've heard her on the phone screaming to people on that telephone, so she is definitely running the business out of that building.
Okay,
I want that building either moved further away from my property because I'm sitting on the porch hearing everything she says.
all right, anything else you want to tell us?
I have a plot of that property. The building is sitting further to the street than the front of her house. And there's nothing in here showing what the whole backyard of that property looks like. That building can be moved closer to her house and it can be moved further back.
Okay,
My lot is lower than her lot, so any water that would come in her street is gonna come on my lot.
okay,
So the building needs to be moved.
all right. Anything else you want to tell us, Mr. Lee?
Do what? Let's see. I have a survey paper here of that building that's in question.
Well, let's, if you would, give it to this young man, let him put it up on the screen, and then you explain to us what we're looking at.
Okay.
Mr. Lee, is this a stamp survey?
Yes.
It does have a survey stamp on it.
Yes.
That's the same one we have in the book. Okay,
Yeah,
We have that same thing in our book, so
Yeah.
go ahead and explain to us what you want to explain.
Okay, the point I'm trying to make is see the front. Oh, down
Show,
here? Okay.
put the pointer there.
Oh, that's the reason. Okay, right there's the building.
Yes, sir.
And you can tell right there from that line going straight across that front of that building is closer to the street than the house.
And I believe that's one of the variances they're asking for.
Yes. And I live right over here.
Okay. And again, for the record, you saying that the lady is talking too loud out of that building, or she's running a business out of there?
She's running a
Is there
business out of it.
people coming in and out of the building? I mean,
She
just
first
to,
put-
just to talk on the phone is not against the law.
No,
I gotta
this is more
find-
than just talking on the phone. This is screaming, hollering, cussing at people on this
Well,
telephone.
again, it's still on the telephone. Is there any traffic going in and out of this
When she
building?
first put that building in, there was a lot of traffic going in and out of that building.
Okay. All right, anything else you want to tell us, Mr. Lee? Again, there is no rebuttal. You tell us everything all at one time.
This has been an ongoing thing. I mean, she's got plenty of driveway here. She's got people parks all up and down the street. I mean, whenever we leave our driveway, we can't even turn and come out of our driveway, look down the street. All you see is her vehicle lined up and down the street.
There's more than one vehicle?
She's got two or three vehicles sitting on the street that belongs to her kids and stuff,
Okay.
that they're not parking in the driveway. The transfer trucks that she's been bringing over there for the last couple of years, they've been coming over there working on 11:30 at night.
Now,
Yes.
you got to clarify what you're saying. Is there a truck coming on the property and it's being worked on the property? Is that what you're saying? You've got to clarify.
It has been, yes.
Recently?
It has been in less than probably 6 months ago.
Okay. All right, Mr. Lee, anything else you want to tell us?
I reckon I took pictures of her backyard in the back of that building before I left my house. And she does have it on cinder blocks, and the back of the building is 3 blocks high. And she's got a dog. She ties a dog up on the
Okay, wait. If you have anything else you want to show us, you can show us. But remember, we've got another person that wants to speak, so we've got to leave enough time for another person to speak too. Okay, tell us what we're looking at.
We're looking at the back side of the building. There shows the building, cinder blocks, all the stuff between the building and that fence, all that belongs to her. All that wooden pallets and everything, it's standing straight up, all that belongs to her. That's her backyard.
Okay,
That's the back side of her building.
okay,
There's the little shed thing she's talking about in the backyard.
okay,
All that stuff all that you're seeing in that backyard, every bit of that's hers. All them fuel tanks, the propane bottles and everything's hers. Stuff standing up back there at the back fence,
well,
look like shutters, is hers. All that's in her back of her yard.
okay.
That's it. That's all the picture. Oh, wait a minute, there's one more picture here I want to show you. Let me find it. On the picture, if you look, did I do it here? If you look right there, where I'm pointing at,
Yes, sir?
that's a camper sitting in her backyard
Okay,
that somebody lives in.
oh,
It's less than 2 foot off the property line. That's a camper. Somebody's living in the camper. They have sewer running out of this camper into the sewer tank, the septic tank.
okay.
Okay? Now, back to the building. Can't see it. Trying to get back to the front. On the front, she ties a dog on the front porch and lets the,
Okay. Yeah, we need to finish up because I got another person that wants to speak. You're in their time now. Okay, I'll hear from the next person, please.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, again, ma'am, give me your name before you get started.
My name is Karen Darlene Castleberry, and I've lived there since 1984, long before the plaintiff
Okay.
has lived there. The people that she has on her list that she noted she had signatures from,
Yeah.
the majority of them do not own the property that she got signatures. They are renters,
Okay.
which is already a problem with our street. Okay, she does have a trailer that her brother-in-law or something used to live in, and the trailer still sits there on her property. It's illegal, it's not on improved ground. She brought this building in and set it up front so that people would have an access from the front yard. She has always 3 to 5 and even 6 vehicles parked at her home at all times. They
Any-
come and go.
Any of them commercial vehicles?
Yes, her husband has parked his tractor from his tractor trailer rig at their home many, many times, not like in the last 6 months necessarily, but he's worked on it. It sits there and runs for hours. You know, he comes home from a long haul. We've never made a big deal about that. But this building, she is running a business out of it. It has electricity. It has a phone. She does not have, the building is not classified as a residential structure. It is an outbuilding. It is,
We're-
be 14 inches on center. If it was built by a company,
We're,
it is,
we're pretty familiar with these buildings,
Okay.
so you don't need to go into detail. What else do you want to, your time's kind of running short.
yes,
so
I understand.
try to
But
get
she
you
is running a
everything.
business out of it.
And where do you live, ma'am?
I live down at the corner, which would be the opposite end where Tranquil and Harmony intersect. So it's going to be down this direction.
Okay, how many houses away are you?
1, 2, 3, 3 down and across.
Okay, where's your house now? Is that it there?
Yes, that's it. That's my
Okay,
home.
Okay,
That's my yard. So I hear her when she's out in the yard screaming and using profanity all over the place. Everybody in the neighborhood hears her. She's such a lovely person to have as a neighbor.
we want to try to refrain from those kind of comments. Anything else you want to tell us?
No, sir, that about covers it.
Okay, thank you. Is there any,
I did want to ask, you had a picture, didn't you, at one point you wanted to share?
Well, it was, she had one of the building in front of her house. I mean, I have pictures that show there's 5 cars parked, 2 on the
you
street.
kick it back?
show them?
See, it's like,
We'd be interested if you could show pictures that we haven't already seen. So if you have pictures of the trucks or vehicles, we'd like to see those.
I don't know how you do this. There's 5 vehicles. Oh, good old fingerprints. She has,
All
if you
right,
can see
tell
it,
us what we're looking at, ma'am.
there are 3 vehicles parked in the driveway, and 2 of them, 3 of them are hers, the 2 on the
But
street.
I tell you what, take a pointer and show us the cars in the driveway. He'll give you a pointer.
Okay. Oh, on this, good golly. It's impossible to see. There's one of them right there. I can't do this. I'm going the opposite direction. There's 2 parked up front beside the trailer,
Okay,
and then her SUV is parked behind it, and then the 2 on the street are in front of her property. And it's normal that there be 5 vehicles parked like that
Okay.
on a daily basis.
All
They'll be
right,
gone some of them will be gone at night.
anything else you want to show us?
No, sir.
Okay. Is there anybody else wishing to speak in opposition to case B92? Have you been sworn in, ma'am? Okay, come right up quickly. If you, they've all taken your time.
They are employees that.
Excuse me, ma'am. They have-
Sorry.
Excuse me. They've taken up your time. I'm going to give you a little bit of time, but the first thing you've got to do is give me your name.
I know, Connie Lee.
Miss Lee, okay. All right, tell us what you want to tell us.
Okay, they have been 6 employees at her house at one time. They come at 7:30 in the morning, they leave at 5 o'clock in the evening. The county wrote them up for parking there. She's doing the dispatch service out of that building, and she told the whole neighborhood she was doing it. And it's on Wendy Butterick Facebook, pictures of her employees and everything else. All the employees, they come outside at my house and they eat their lunch standing at the fence.
All right, anything else you want to tell us regarding?
I want to say that, it's like, don't want to be bothered with that all the time. I don't care if she has the building, but I can't have people running a business in my neighborhood. If so, I'd like to do the same thing, and they told me I couldn't.
Okay. Anything else, quickly? Anything else you want to tell us?
That'd do it.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Again, for the record, is there anybody wishing to speak in opposition to case B92? Hearing and not seeing anybody, it's back to this board for discussion. Judy, do you want to start us off?
This case, we didn't work originally, or I didn't work it originally, but there was an emergency, and so we all jumped in and are going to participate in this one. There's a couple things. Number one, usually when a shed, we'd like to have the signature of the adjacent property owner. In this particular case, you don't have the signature of the adjacent property owner. And so we do listen to their concerns. We also listen to concerns of the other neighbors in the neighborhood. It sounds like there is some problems going on with this shed. It does sound like that you are probably running a business from here. I don't think your neighbors would tell that they could hear you and talking if you wasn't in there doing some things. There's some other things about your yard there, that you have someone living in that trailer. The trailer doesn't even need to be there. It needs to be removed. But those are just things I have picked up on. But my biggest concern, you've asked for a variance for that building, and it does appear that the building is being used for commercial purposes. So those would be my comments, if anyone else would like to.
Monique, please.
Yeah. Well, I want to go back to the original variance, and I just want clarification from the applicant on the location. Now, you mentioned that towards the back right of the lot, there were trees there. Is there a reason why those trees can't be taken down to move the shed to that location?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
sorry.
No, we can move it if that's what we're gonna have to do. So we put it there and then found out all this other stuff. And so we tried to comply with what we already had did. And as far as, there is no commercial business being ran there.
That's not your question. You only can
Okay.
answer the questions that you're asked.
Right.
Yes, sir?
Okay.
Okay. That was all I have as it relates to the shed. But, based on the testimony today, I do agree that there may be some type of business that's being ran out of the shed. As the chairman indicated, obviously, it's not illegal to be on the telephone and conduct business on the telephone. I have a home-based business, and I do the same. However, I do not have a building in which I am allowing employees to come in,
Come there.
where I'm conducting business on site. So I am a bit concerned that there may be some commercial activity going on at that location.
No, that's not the process. Somebody will ask you a question, then you can answer. Brian, do you have a comment?
I do have one quick question, and that was about the location of the shed and the access from the front. I'm trying to understand why it was built where there's access in front of the fence and why it wasn't placed behind the fence.
Well, it wasn't built. It was placed there.
placed.
And so, again, we placed it there because we thought that that looked the nicest. And also that was where the health department said we should place it. So we tried to make it, appealing. It can most certainly be behind it doesn't matter where the shed is. We're asking for the variance because we already put it there. So if you, as the committee say we have to move it back, then I guess it's what we'll have to do.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Nope.
All right. Wendy, we're probably going to deny this application, which means that you can and will have to move the building. I think we've got more problems than that hearing from your neighbors. So I'm going to suggest that as a group, we're going to tell Mr. Peterson to notify code enforcement, John, and have code enforcement go out and look at that.
They already have.
Excuse me, ma'am. John, we're probably going to ask code enforcement to go out and look at not only her property, but the whole neighborhood. Code enforcement goes out on complaints, but once they get a complaint, they look at everything in the area. So
That'll
the
be
health
fine.
department only controls the septic tank. They're the sole provider of where a septic tank can go in Cobb County. I'm saying that for everybody in the audience and the TV folks at home. So if we do deny this application, I believe that if I was going to make the motion, Ms. Williams and fellow members, I would also put in there that there be no living out of that building and there'd be no business whatsoever conducted out of that building. Now, once code enforcement gets involved there, they're gonna start citing the cars that are parked in the road.
They belong to us.
In the public road, you're gonna have a problem with that. So you might want to maybe enlarge your driveway to get the cars off the road. I'm just telling you all the things that could happen. So, any other comments, Judy?
I do. I have one question. I'm gonna ask John a little bit of the history. John, I think, is familiar with it a little bit.
And all I want to add, Commissioner Williams, is if the board rejects it, just reject numbers 2 and 3 because that's what deals with the shed. Number 1 deals with the existing house that's already in the setback. So just approve 1, but reject 2 and 3.
Okay.
And
And we have a ongoing, or code enforcement has an ongoing case against him already?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And we are still going to instruct them to look at the neighborhood too,
Yes, sir.
okay?
I do have one more
Brian,
question.
one more thing.
John can probably help me with this one too. Looking at the variance application in items 2 and 3, they could move the building and not require a variance technically, right, for this size?
Yes.
If they move the building straight back and probably 1 foot over towards the house, behind the house, you could probably have a legal location back there.
Okay, so, but either way, there are ordinances about no business being conducted out of a facility like that, right?
That's correct. You know, that
So,
the code does not permit a business to be run out of a shed.
okay,
You know, if it's a customary home occupation, it's got to be run out of the house.
okay.
It can't be run
So
out of the
if
shed.
files are stored, any of that stuff, that's business.
You can't go in there.
Yeah,
But, you know, if she did move the shed, she would have to get a building permit to move it. And a permit for any type of trade, like electrical or anything.
okay, thank you.
And no living,
No limit.
and no living in that building or any other building that's not in the house.
All right, so John, if I made a motion to approve 1 and 2 and deny number 3,
It'd be approved 1, deny 2 and 3.
and deny 2 and 3, which did pertain to the shed, and then is code enforcement checking on someone living in that trailer?
I'm sure they'll check when.
When they go out there?
They have already come
My other
out.
question, you know, when I first heard this, I thought of that commercial, there's an insurance commercial that said, my she shed burned, and I thought she had a she shed where, you know, have y'all not seen that commercial?
Yeah.
And it's cute, and I thought that's what it was.
That's basically what it is, ma'am.
But it sounds like it got more involved, but.
No, I
by
just
this-
put my stuff in
Ma'am,
it.
ma'am, you
yeah,
cannot talk
yeah,
unless
I'm
we
just
ask you a
making
direct question.
Yeah, I'm just making a comment. But by denying it, you can move it to the back. It
Okay.
wouldn't prevent you from having your building, and it would make it legal then.
Sure.
So.
I don't have a problem with that. We were just trying to
I understand,
keep it,
I
keep
understand.
expenses
Yeah.
down.
If
And
you would like to have a seat, then I
Yeah,
think
you
I'm
have a
ready to
seat.
make a
Thank you.
motion. Thank you. So if, with y'all's permission, I think I'm ready to make a motion.
Okay, let's go.
I would like to approve item number 1, which is for the existing structure, and then deny items 2 and 3. And instruct the zoning department to get in touch with the code enforcement about the other issues that were raised today about the trailer. And John, if you would help her on the coordination of where to put it in the back, could you do that? Okay, and that would be my motion.
No living and no business.
No living, no business.
All right, I've got a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any comments now?
Oh, wait, just a minute. I think I probably should give a time limit. to move it?
I think it'd probably be wise, yeah.
What do you think?
30 days,
30, 60 days?
30. I think these people live long. It's an easy building to move. It's only on cinder blocks. It's easy to move.
Okay. 30 days then. 30 days to move the structure.
Okay, and just by way of a comment to the neighbors that are here, they have a right to move that building to the back, as Ms. Williams has pointed out. That building probably can be moved to the back, and then it becomes legal. But we've also instituted in this motion that there be no business and no living other than in the house. In the house, you can live in the house, but no business to be conducted in that shed or living in that shed, period. Got a motion, got a second? No other comments, call for the vote. Okay, we're going to approve that 4-0. Madam Secretary. John, what else do I have today? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, our business is complete. Well, we've got a couple of minutes to do, but your business is complete with us for today. Madam Secretary, I need to approve the minutes on September the 24th and also October the 3rd. I'll entertain a motion on both
Make a
of those.
motion, we approve the minutes as submitted.
I'll
Okay,
second.
second, who's my second? Brian? All those in favor signify by voting. Okay, there you go. 4-0, it's all complete.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. We'll have a great
Thanks,
day. Be
y'all.
careful of the storm.
Thanks for the help, y'all.